Now, as hard as it is to believe, we are less than a week away from the first preseason game. The Rams travel to Indianapolis for Sunday tilt. What do you expect to see out of that game? And with the starters, how much do you want to play? How much do you want to see of them in the first week?
Well, you know, what I want to see and what we'll see is two different things, because I'm a little bit of a dinosaur, and I still have trouble buying into the no tackle league. The National Football League has really become the no tackle league. You know, and practices really are not what I'm used to in practice. Even at the highest level, it's not what I'm used to. So, I mean, to me, if you're going to practice that way, I would probably stretch my players a little bit more in preseason games, because that's the only way to get it live, get it full speed. I don't think anybody will do that, so you'll probably see, like you saw last night, you know, a quarter, if the first unit offensively gets a real good drive like the Saints and score, you get them out. But, I mean, you know, that's all. I'm sure Jeff has given this tremendous amount of thought. So, you know, but I just think you got to play them. Especially your young guys, you got to play them a little bit.
Well, and the Rams' first unit defense is in there. I want to see him stop the run, stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. I mean, to me, that's a big key this year. I want to see him get in the habit of stopping the run. The storyline for Indy is Andrew Luck. So, you know, they stop the run. We'll see if they can get after Andrew Luck in passing situations. And then on offense, like I said before, I'd really like to see Isaiah P get a heavy workload against a lot of number ones or a lot of guys that are near the top of the depth charts in other teams' defenses. I want to see what he has. I'm intrigued by him. I want to see what he has on first down. I want to see what he has on third down. Those are a couple things I'm looking for. I think the final score, you know, if 2011 didn't teach us anything, it's that preseason final score, the Rams were 4-0. All right. Am I right?
You're right.
I don't think I've forgotten the games I called, but they were 4-0, and that didn't necessarily translate to anything. I think it's more about trends and how you play. And the team we're playing for a decade under Tony Dungy proved that. The Colts were miserable as far as preseason records go under Dungy. They were either 0-4, 1-3, didn't care about the second half, and they did pretty well for a decade under Tony Dungy and Peyton Manning.
Rick, you coach. Steve, you played. And going through training camps, do you get to a point, especially 2 weeks in, where you're just excited to hit somebody in a different uniform? Is there an element?
Well, I don't think that's as prevalent.
No.
Today, I mean, nobody's hitting anybody. I mean, you're at this point in the old days. At this point, like about Tuesday of this week, would have been about your 15th practice. And you can't wait. I don't know how that translates today. To be honest, I really don't. Like I said, you know, Dick Vermeil told me a year ago he would have had trouble building a world championship in the type of environment that's allowed. The one thing, and Steve kind of hit on it, as a coach, there's a couple things that I always wanted, regardless of whether it was a scrimmage or preseason. I always want my first units to look good. I mean, I demand they look good, because they're getting all the reps in mini camps and OTAs out here. I mean, I don't want the starters. Like, if I'm Arizona last night, I'm pretty upset that New Orleans gashed me with my good players. I could care less what happens afterwards. I played coached 27 years. I can't ever remember a preseason game, and I could remember every league game if you stuck me to it, what the score was and how we did it. But I think that's important. And then I think what's really important then from there on is to evaluate those first and second year players. The first year guys, we're all aware of. All the rookies are going to be out there, you're going to see them. But to me, the key second year players for the Rams, there's three guys that I got in mind, and my binoculars are going to be on. And I'm going to wear it out. Quinn, number 1 on defense, okay? Kendrick, okay, number 2 on offense, and then number 3 is Salas, because those three guys play pivotal roles. And I do believe this from my coaching days, and this is an adage, but I think it's a true adage. Guys make more improvement between year 1 and year 2 than any time in their career, you know, and particularly those kids who did not even have the first off season. So, you know, those three guys, when you think about it, you got a tight end that's got a chance to be real good, you got a defensive end got a chance to be real good, and you got a receiver that we think is pretty damn good. So, you know, I want to see those sophomores play well.
Listen, my training camp experience as a player limited to 2 training camps right in the mid-'80s. I was one of those guys that Venturi was just kicking out there in the third and fourth quarter, okay? Hoping to fall into a sack.
The guy he admittedly doesn't care about.
Exactly. Well, no, I said I didn't care.
I was the low-hanging fruit, as he refers to
the
results.
I said I didn't care about the result.
Yeah.
I care very much about how guys play. And I'm looking for playmakers. It doesn't matter if it's the beginning. Now here, I'm going to define playmaker for you, okay? It's not real complicated. If you're a playmaker for me, You get the ball in the end zone, you knock the quarterback down, or you get turnovers. Okay, this is real simple. So I don't care if you did it in the fourth quarter, third quarter, second quarter. If a guy shows me that, I don't care what his pedigree is.
Right. Well, training camp has changed so much.
Yeah.
In the mid-'80s, it was like the Bataan Death March. I went to camp my rookie year, July 6th. Do the math on that, July 6th. Second year, I went to camp July 12th. Okay, it was a whole different deal. You couldn't wait. You had that first preseason game circled. The reason that guys now should have this first preseason game circled, at least back in the day, we never stopped hitting. So you had a chance to impress somebody from the first moment you stepped in the field. Most days ending in Y, you had a chance to go light somebody up. You don't have that opportunity as much anymore. So you got 4 opportunities, theoretically, to go out and light somebody up and play with the big boy pads and go make plays, and that's what's so important about the preseason games. I think back in the day, practice almost mattered as much as some of the preseason games. Now, I don't think that's the case for guys who are fighting their way up the depth chart, and they've got to do something dramatic to catch the coach's eye.
I agree with you. You didn't realize you were in a preseason game in the old days. No,
it was a relief.
It was a relief.
It was a relief from practice.
It really was. It was cooler.
I don't have the right to say that.
No,
There's only 2 training camps, but that's just the reality.
I can remember my first training camp in Baltimore, Maryland, with the then Baltimore Colts. Frank Cush was the coach. I remember scrimmaging Saturday morning, goal line full out, scrimmage, short yardage, get something to eat, get in the bus, go down to Memorial Stadium and play the game. That's how she was.
That's going to do it for this week's training camp wrap-up. Coach Steve, thanks so much for the time and the knowledge. The Rams and the Colts kick it off 12:30 Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium. Stay tuned to stlouisrams.com for more coverage throughout the season.